How ironic. I'm making a video about how to get waves without a do-rag, yet here I am wearing a do-rag. Listen, this is not a method that I do myself. I'll be completely honest. I don't, I do wear a do-rag. And I just need to give you this full disclosure. Getting waves without a do-rag and getting waves with the do-rag, the processes aren't completely different. They're quite similar. Actually, I'd say they're the exact same. The difference is the amount of work you actually have to put in. Anything that you do normally, like brushing your hair, applying products, all that, you need to do that twice as much, maybe even, many more times than you would need to do without a do-rag. But it's still possible to get waves without a do-rag. You want to know why? The do-rag is not what gives you waves. I know a lot of people out there have that misconception. If somebody has really nice waves, me personally, I've heard people ask me, Wave Man or Michael, they just say my regular name in real life. Your waves are so nice. What do-rag do you use? And the answer to that question is, whatever do-rag I wore the previous night, I'll, just mention that do-rag. But that's not really what would help them, So then I go deeper into details and explain. I wear a do-rag, but the do-rag is not at all what gives me waves. A do-rag doesn't give you waves, neither do product. So it doesn't matter if you wear this do-rag, that do-rag, it doesn't matter. As long as it's not like some type of garbage do-rag, that's probably gonna make your process harder. But getting waves without a do-rag is already making the process harder for yourself. So let's just ask ourselves this quick question. Sorry if you hear my turn signal. I am driving right now. But let's just ask this question. What does a do-rag do, and what is the purpose of a do-rag? Well, the do-rag actually, I'm going to turn this off actually. The do-rag actually has a few purposes. So number one, a do-rag helps you protect your hair. Whenever you're sleeping, the do-rag is going to keep your pillows and your sheets from messing up your hair. That's important because why would you want to brush your hair just for it to get messed up right after that? You know what I mean? It makes no sense. But for some people, maybe they can't afford a do-rag. Maybe they're just a kid and their parents are not letting them get a do-rag. There's many different things that can go into it for reasoning why you wouldn't have a do-rag or why you wouldn't want to wear a do-rag. Okay, so the first reason is that the do-rag protects your hair. It makes it so you can go to sleep, you can put your head back on a headrest, you can do all of that knowing that your hair isn't going to be messed up in the process. The next purpose for a do-rag is to hold your hair down. So me, for example, right now, I just finished brushing my hair and I have products in my hair. What the do-rag is doing for me is holding my hair in place for a longer period of time after I finish that brush session. So that way, it'll maintain that same way that I just brushed it into. Sorry if some of the stuff I'm saying doesn't really make sense. Like half of my focus is on what I'm saying and then half of my focus is on the road. By the way, that's a big part of why I haven't been making videos lately. It's just because I'm always at work. Right now, heading to get something to eat and then I'm gonna go to work. So the way I figured out how to do this so that I can still make videos even though I work a lot is just make videos when I'm driving. I hope you guys don't mind. I did get these like microphones because recording straight out of my phone, there's a lot of vibration from the tripod and that is often a lot louder than my voice. So I got microphones, but the thing about that is I kind of cheaped out. I got some cheap mics and the quality of the sound is awful. Hold on, let me order my food right quick. All right, got that taken care of. All right, enough of what you need a do-rag for. Now let's talk about how to actually go about getting the waves. In particular, how to get waves without a do-rag. So first up, you're still going to need a brush. If you don't know already, a brush is the most important material for making waves, because the whole idea behind getting waves comes from brushing your hair. If you're not brushing your hair, you're most likely not going to get waves, especially if you're not wearing a do-rag. Because like I said, a do-rag is there to protect your hair. And if you're not brushing your hair, what is there even to protect when it comes to your hair? You know what I mean? So get a brush. My recommendation, of course, is to go get a brush from www.smoothstyles.com and using my discount code. Why do I recommend that? Well, they're high quality brushes and they're at a low price. Then on top of that, when you use my discount code, you get a discount on top of that low price. Why wouldn't you want to do that? So go hit up www.smoothstyles.com and get a brush right now. Now, when you are trying to get waves without a do-rag, you need to make sure that you're brushing more than you normally would. For someone who does wear a do-rag, you're probably brushing your hair 30 minutes a day. Let's just say 30 minutes. For somebody without a do-rag, you might be brushing a lot more than that. It could be, upwards of an hour. I know it sounds like a lot, but listen, you're leaving out an important step to this process. So, of course, you're going to need to put in that extra work. I'd say an hour is probably like the minimum you need to be doing if you're trying to get waves without a do-rag. And by the way, when I say without a do-rag, I mean you're not using the do-rag, you're not using a wave cap, you're not using the stocking cap, you're not using any of that stuff. And next up, you're still going to need to use some products. So go get some grease, go get some pomade, go get some moisturizer, any of that stuff. Odds are, if the reason you can't get a do-rag is money, then you probably can't afford to get a whole bunch of different products either, right? So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to get a butter, a moisturizer, a pomade, all of those. Just pick one and just stick to that. If you could only get one, if one is all you can get, I would recommend, I'd say the pomade is probably going to be best for you without a do-rag. Getting a moisturizer is just for that reason, to moisturize your hair. And without a do-rag, a moisturizer is really going to, I don't think it's going to be the best for you, because it might cause your hair to curl up. And when your hair starts curling up, you're going to need a do-rag to save you, because the do-rag is going to push your hair down into your scalp. Not literally like into your scalp, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's going to lay your hair down as much as it can. So without a do-rag, using a moisturizer by itself, it might not do what you want it to do. Vice versa, a pomade, if you don't apply too little and if you don't apply too much, if your hair isn't too long, if everything lines up perfectly, the pomade might be all you need put in your hair. Of course, it will be better to use all of the ones that you need, but if you can only get one, then you can only get one. You know what I mean? If you're looking for a recommendation for a pomade, I'll just go ahead and say Murray's pomade. The reason I say Murray's pomade is because it's easy to find, it's not too expensive, and it works. If you don't like Murray's pomade, then I would say Sport and Waves or 360 Style pomade, something like that. All those products are relatively inexpensive and easy to find. I bet if you go to a Walmart, CVS, any beauty supply store, a Target, something like that, you'll be able to find each of these products. And if not each of them, at least one of the ones that I just named. You know what I mean? There's no way you're going into a Walmart and you can't find any of those products. Again, Murray's pomade, 360 Style pomade, Sport and Waves pomade. Those are like the top three that I can think of right now. Dax, those are pomades that you should be able to find. They should be inexpensive, right? Okay. And remember what I said, when you are trying to get waves without a do-rag, you do need to amplify stuff. So you are going to need to brush your hair more than you normally would. But with the products, you don't need to go above and beyond and put more products in, because that might cause your hair to get a little messy. And just like I said with the moisturizer, that's also true for the pomade. So you're going to need the do-rag to save you. And if you don't have a do-rag, then that's why you wouldn't go above and beyond with those products. You know what I mean? Also, let me just say this. so you have things a little bit more in order. I'd say brush your hair, if you're going to brush for about an hour, brush your hair for about 15 minutes first, then apply the products, and then brush your hair for another 45 minutes. That's your hour right there. If you don't have an hour all at once, you can break it up throughout the day too. So brush your hair for 5 minutes, put the products in your hair, brush your hair for another 5 minutes. That's 10 minutes right there. Later, do another 10 minutes, then another 10 minutes, then another, you know what I mean? Keep going until you hit that hour. Even if you did have a do-rag, I would still recommend this, but I'd probably say 30 minutes. That's all you really need to do if you were using a do-rag, but of course you're not. So that's why I said an hour. But if you want to go more, of course, if you want to go to, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, nobody's stopping you except yourself. Odds are your hair's, not your hair, but your scalp is probably going to start hurting if you brush it too much, especially if you're using a hard brush. Also, how did I think of this at the beginning of the video? I hope you stayed and watched this far in the video because this is really helpful too. Without a do-rag, you shouldn't be using a hard brush. Nope, it doesn't matter. No matter how much you want to, you shouldn't. You need to be using either a soft brush or a medium brush if you can only get one. See, the soft brush already starts preparing you for a do-rag because it starts laying your hair down in place because it's so soft. It's going to glide over your hair. It's going to lay them all down. It's going to get them nice and shiny. Just what you need, right? So if you don't have a do-rag, at least the soft brush gets your hair somewhere close to that point for you by itself. Now you might be asking, why don't I just recommend the soft brush overall? Well, the medium brush is still pretty important too because that's the brush where you really put in the work to get more progress on your waves. I'd say overall, a medium brush is by far the best type of brush. Whether you have short hair or long hair, a medium brush is almost always going to work versus a soft or hard brush. If you have short hair, you better not use a hard brush. And if you have really long hair, the soft brush really isn't going to do much unless you use a medium or hard brush first. If you just start scrambling your hair when you have, you know, a longer hair length, and then you come behind it with a soft brush, your hair is not going to really respond to it. I hope this is all making sense. Is this making sense to you? If this makes sense to you, go leave a comment down below saying it sure does. I just want to make sure, because of course it can make sense to me. I've been doing this for years, but let's just say somebody's watching the video and this is your very first wave video you've ever watched, ever. It might make sense to you. It might not make sense to you. I don't really know. That's why I'm asking you to go drop a comment down below telling me if it makes sense to you. Because if not, I'll just make another video explaining it again. And I guess that time I can plan out what I'm going to say a little bit better. So that way I can make it make more sense to you. But if it does make sense to you, then I'll just move on to the next topic. And then you'll get a different video talking about a different way to perfect your waves too. But anyway, I don't want to make this video extremely long. I don't know how long it is so far, but I know you're tired. You probably want to go on and watch the rest of my videos. I'll leave a few videos linked below. So right after you finish watching this video, go look for the links down below in the description or maybe even in the comment section and go watch those videos. Those are going to be helpful to you too. Trust me. And they might even be a little bit more entertaining than this video. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm Waveman Mike. Subscribe, comment, and like. Enjoy your day.